What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Living Electric. I am back from CES, so we figured we'll have kind of a CES-focused episode. So Brandon will interview me about my time there, and we'll kind of chat about some of the tech that was released. Obviously, it's not unique to the show; like there's coverage online. So Brandon honestly might have a better idea of what was actually revealed at the show, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if you want to give me that full credit. Yeah, Tyler and I really wanted to get to CES this year, and it came up so quickly that we just totally forgot about it. But we're hoping to get there next year, as either part of Clean Technica or whatever media company we're representing or whatever. But I think it would probably be good to give a quick overview of what CES is, just in case if you're not familiar with it. It stands for Consumer Electronics Show, and it's every January in Las Vegas. So it's once a year. It's I think it's 4 to 5 days long. I think they have one early day and then
it's like a
4
week
days.
Long. Yeah.
It's a
long time because the first couple days are just press only. So it's just for press to basically go around and shoot video and photos of things. and then they kind of slowly open it up to industry people. And then the public, I think, is the last day. They just let open the floodgates and let everybody in and just check things out.
That's good to know it's public. I actually didn't know that. I thought you had to be part of a company or you had to register ahead of time.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty lax. It's not like you have to show proof that you work in the industry or anything. So it's relatively definitely some of the last days are the most popular. So.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, because I've always just been on the connotation that you had to be registered or something like that. So
yeah,
that's good to know. But it's a really cool show. They show everything from electric wheelchairs to EV charging to actual vehicles and everything essentially in between that you might need as a consumer.
Right.
So Alex knows I was not there in person. I was there in spirit and digitally, reading everything online, and there was a lot of cool things that I saw that were unveiled. The one thing I do want to point out before we get into the vehicles, I actually didn't see a lot of news on EV charging. I saw some things, but it wasn't as as commonplace as it had been in previous years. At least online, it wasn't.
Yeah, there was definitely a good showing of EV charging. There was. I feel like people don't cover it because it's not as flashy. A vehicle is will kind of grab people's attention, and it's easy to write a headline on a vehicle, but EV charging is kind of boring at the end of the day unless you're nerds like us. It's kind of a means to an end in a lot of ways. It's just a way to charge the car. None of the tech is super exciting. Nothing's super groundbreaking in the EV charging side of things, at least to kind of the lay person, that just the normal driver that's interested in EVs. The charging isn't as exciting. So that may have been why there wasn't as much coverage on the charging, but I know, just offhand, I can think of half a dozen EV charging specific booths that were there. So there was definitely still a showing for it, but nothing that was I hadn't seen before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I saw, things from ChargePoint. I saw ABB had announced a few new home chargers.
Yeah.
Which actually were pretty, they were beautiful and they're designed with the wood grain accents and everything like that. That was pretty cool. And obviously, Nudo was there. You guys had a booth.
Yeah, we were able to work with one of our partners to get a corner of a booth. So we were just there with them and brought one of our chargers and we're talking to people. And the thing we realized, which is you don't normally realize some of these things till after the show or when you're at the show, is it's very hard to describe to people that we're a software company because the hardware and the physical things are what grabs people's attention. It's not necessarily a video or a screen. It's hard to really convey that we are a software company first. That is the main thing we do. So yeah.
I hope one day we get to the moments, when those spy movies where they have the holographs. Almost like Yu-Gi-Oh, as we've talked about, but,
right?
Where they have the screen and they're pulling apart pictures and stuff like that.
Augmented reality type deal.
Yeah. I hope one day we get to that point where you could just have a projection and then you could just show it in midair. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's what we need. Yep,
Yeah.
that'll get people's
Maybe
attention.
at a future CES we'll get there.
I did see
But
some holograms there. One of the
no way.
halls we went through, they had like a hologram booth. It was wild. They had like birds
Wow.
flying around in this hologram. They had like a robot person. Like it was some
Oh,
wild stuff. Like
that's crazy.
there was just so much stuff to take in. Like that was probably the first takeaway. Just being on the show floor for the first time is it is just massive. Like there is multiple halls in Vegas that they have this event at. You literally have to get in a taxi and go down the road to get to the
Yep.
other part of the show. Like it's not just like walking around a convention center.
Yeah.
It's the entire convention center, it's the parking lot, and it's the convention center like down
Yes.
the road. Like it's all of it.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Oh, I've been in that convention center for the NADA show last year, and it's huge.
yeah.
It's massive. So
Right.
I can only imagine like having smaller booths with like different different products that they're displaying, let alone like vehicles, and like
Right.
I'm sure it's overwhelming to an extent.
Definitely. Yeah.
But well, I know that there were a lot of EVs that were unveiled, a lot of EV technology talked about. Did you get a chance to look up any of them, or well, you saw some of them in person?
Yeah, I think the best looking one I saw at the entire show was actually the post office truck. I think that's just a beautifully designed beautifully designed car. They really just like really nailed it with that one. What do you
I
think?
think I. I think we're gonna have to post a visual of this. You really had me going for a second. I'm like, he's gonna say the Ram, concept. He's gonna say that Mercedes that they showed, but you. Okay, so I'm really glad that the post office is going electric. But whenever I see that like van, all it makes me think of is like a baseball hat. So like it has like the bill, and
Yeah.
then that part that goes over your head. That's all I can see, but with wheels. Like,
Right.
it just looks like a hat with wheels. Or a duck. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Like I'm very curious. Like I know it's an Oshkosh Defense design product, so it's like I'm not too familiar with the company, but they're a defense contractor. Like I don't think they design, like commercial vehicles like this very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very odd. It was neat, like seeing it in person because I've seen all these renders, but to like physically see it,
Yeah.
I do kind of get what they're going for. It's like they want it to be more efficient, which I think is why it's got that such an awkward design because it has to be like it has to have this big windshield so the post office employees can see when they're driving around. But like I feel like there's a better way to do it than having this big nose that sticks out in the front. So
Yeah.
very weird. Still look like I mean a capable vehicle. I think it's like you said. I'm glad they're going electric. I just wish it looked a little bit nicer. Like the future
Yeah,
doesn't have to be ugly.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. That's where I'm like, Amazon and Rivian did it totally like
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost said on the nose, but like all I could think of is the front of that post office van.
Right.
But yeah, no. I mean, like I think Rivian really did a good job with designing like their cargo vans. For Amazon. Maybe they'll change the design of these, after a little bit, but
Right.
I guess we'll see. Yeah. But speaking about beautiful cars, so which vehicles did you get to see in person?
So I'm just looking at my pictures right now, so that's why I'm not looking at you. But I did get to see
Rude. No, I'm just kidding.
I got to see the Lucid in person. I got to see the new Ram truck
Oh, yeah.
reveal. I didn't get sorry, not the reveal, but I got to see the truck. Is it the Dodge something that has like the faux engine noise? It's like it looks
Oh.
like a Challenger.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
I
under
think-
some other brand.
No,
But I got
no,
to see that one. That was really good looking. I'm hoping we see more muscle cars like that
Oh yeah, same
in the
here.
future. So that one, I got to see that new Mercedes that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, the
That's-
EQXX.
Yeah, really good looking car. Like kind of that coupe type design we've been talking about. That like we need more more EVs in that form factor. Volkswagen or group kind of had their little booth. They had the Taycan there. They had the e-tron GT. the ID Buzz I got to see for the first time in
Oh,
person,
cool.
which was really cool. I don't know if you've
How
seen
was
that one
that?
yet. It was a lot smaller than I expected, honestly. Like
Really?
very similar in size to the ID4, just in a bus
Huh.
shape, which was a little disappointing because you'd think, with the bus it would be a bus,
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
car.
yeah.
So
Oh,
definitely a lot
that's really
smaller than I
interesting.
thought.
I know they're based on the same platform, but I definitely like the photos are so deceiving because it does make it look like a bigger vehicle.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Lyric was there. Got to see that one. Got to see the Hummer EV in person. Have you seen that one in person yet? I've seen it driving, but that was it before a
Oh
few
yeah.
days ago.
Yeah.
And then what else here? A lot of just like smaller brand EVs. I saw a Neo there. What else do we have here? A lot of concept EVs. Apparently, there's some not debate, but like some interesting stories around the DeLorean brand because there was a DeLorean concept car there, but it was
Oh,
made
there
by some
was.
other like Italian design company under
Hmm.
the DeLorean brand, but they don't own the DeLorean brand. It was very weird, but
Oh, interesting.
DeLorean had there was a car concept car with a DeLorean badge on it.
Oh, that's kind of
So
cool to see.
yeah, very very strange. And then probably the most exciting one was the Lightyear one I got to see there.
Oh.
Or
Oh,
Lightyear,
cool.
is it Lightyear Zero? Is that the right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I got to
Yeah.
see that in person, which was really cool because I'm excited about what they're doing. I feel like they're one of the few that are kind of doing the technology a little bit differently, and I know they're looking to release some sort of much more affordable car than what the Zero is. So there, if you don't know the car with the solar panel on the top that's kind of covering the whole car. I don't know if you know the background on that company, but it's really interesting.
Wasn't it a college project?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that's
So
all I know about it.
yeah, so similar to, like if you've heard of Baja or like Concrete Canoe, there's some of these like engineering type groups that will just work on stuff all year and then have a competition at the end of the year. One of these is a solar car competition. So the kind of founders and the people that started this company had won this solar competition like multiple years in a row, had broken records in this competition, like were crushing it.
Wow.
And then after their senior year, had spun it into this company to start building, a proper commercial like vehicle. So that's what they're
That's
kind of
so
building
cool.
from.
That's really cool. Yeah, I heard about the Lightyear too, like the car that you can put you can get on the watch list for it. And I
Right.
was
Yeah.
tempted to do that, based on
It's
like some of
free.
like
You can
yeah.
just put it
I
in your
mean, I'm still
email.
waiting on my Faraday Future, that I reserved, but
I did
so
see that
I'll
one
have to.
too, actually. That was there.
Oh, that was there.
Yeah.
Is it big in person? I don't want to change topics, but I feel like the FF91 is huge.
I mean, similar size to a lot of the other cars I saw. So,
Got it. Okay. Dang it. I wanted a big jelly bean. But yeah, no, the Lightyear has really has always interested me. Like I feel like it's just like such a technological piece of like innovation. It's
right.
so cool.
But yeah, I
I
think
might
that
have to
was
join
most
that
of
watch list.
VinFast had a huge booth there. So I didn't
Oh
spend time with
yeah,
each of their cars, but they had a lot of their cars there.
yeah.
And they also had bikes there, which was pretty cool. Like they had some good looking bikes, like e-bikes, which was
VinFast
not
did?
aware that they were working on or had, but they had like six or seven
Oh,
e-bike models in their booth. So
really?
yeah.
Huh. I did not even know that they made that. Do they sell those in the US? Did you look that up afterwards?
I don't think they do. They had like some QR codes around basically saying like, "Hey, which bike are you interested in that we might
Oh,
build?" Like something like that. So I'm wondering
huh.
if it's just kind of an engineering project for somebody that they
Yeah.
have tagged on to VinFast. But
You know what? We need more e-bikes.
right,
People seem to love those. So
yeah,
yeah, that was one thing that besides the vehicles, and I'll get to like the vehicles I saw digitally and my opinion on that in a second.
right,
I did see that there was a lot of electrified transportation just like in general at
Right.
CES. And it was really cool to see kind of like it was almost like a hodgepodge of like offerings. You know, you had like Land with their district there. You had like an electric like almost looked like a ski bike, like a snow bike.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Lacey from Misco Electric was checking that out. I can't remember what the company's name was. And then obviously you had your e-bikes and like scooters and stuff like that. Like
Right.
it's amazing how many like just electrified options are out there that are not a car. Like, you know,
Right.
you can get into something that's not a vehicle. So,
Yeah.
or, you know, a car. Yeah.
Yeah, I did get to check out the Land booth, which was really cool. Connecting with those guys again. Their team has grown too, so I got to meet some more of the people on the team that are
Oh,
doing
cool.
like like video and photos for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was telling some of my coworkers about it, and they're like, I think in their head they had like just a normal e-bike, and I'm like, no, it's like it can be an e-bike, but it's also like a motorcycle. Like it's a really cool
Yeah.
product. And I go down there, and he's like, "You have me sold. Like I want one of these." He's
It's
like,
so
do you,
cool.
like, do
Yeah.
you know how many people in Colorado would like eat this thing up? Like especially the scrambler, like off-road version.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they would freaking love it. So
Yeah.
I think he's gonna sell some of his friends on it.
Oh,
But
that's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Shout out to Land. I mean, we definitely got to get Scott back on here and, you know, have more conversations of where they've come since we've talked with them last year.
right. Yeah,
Because, like, I mean, besides, like, their cinematography and whoever's helping them with their, like, social media, like, they're killing it.
Yeah.
And, like, everybody here in Cleveland is so proud of them and, like, what they're doing. So,
definitely.
yeah. Yeah. Hopefully one day we can get one of their bikes. The Mini Cooper took its place.
Right.
Yeah.
If it were nicer weather, like more of the year, I feel like it would be a better investment. But it's so hard to swing in Ohio when it's like January right now and it's 40
Oh,
degrees out
yeah.
and snowing and raining. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to go ride a bike.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like that's why I haven't had any opportunity to do any more things with bikes. But yeah, so speaking about other EVs, the ones that I got a chance to like see digitally was the Volkswagen ID.7. They unveiled their sedan based on the MEB platform, which is pretty cool. They didn't really unveil like any like specs, range figures, or anything like that, but they did say that it's going to have a totally redesigned interior compared to like the current ID lineup.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to have like like our ID4 had like the gauge cluster that was like connected to the steering column. It's
Right.
going to be more recessed with a better software design, with a 15-inch touchscreen that's going to be like a horizontal display, which looks great. Like I think that Volkswagen did a really good job with that. But the one claim to fame, which I thought that was kind of interesting that they talked about this with the vehicle, was the magic air vents. I don't know if you saw anything about that.
I did
So I'm pretty sure they're called magic air vents. They might be digital air vents. I'm not really sure what term they're going with, but essentially you could be like, "Hello, ID," like I'm, my hands are cold or something like that, and the air vents will actually automatically figure out where like your hands are and like blow air in different like directions.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of cool that it would
Yeah.
do that. I feel like Tesla could implement something like that.
Right. Tell you where to point the air vents.
Yeah, yeah, but it looks cool. I mean, it's probably gonna be a direct Model 3 competitor.
Yeah.
The one thing that really surprised me the most was the Ram concept EV, or I think they call it the REV, the Ram Rev. And at first, when Tyler showed me it, I didn't get a really close enough like look at it. I'm like, ew, no, that's bad. That's not it. And then as I started looking at it, I'm like, I love this. Like, I really think that what Ram did was took it to a futuristic stance, but not quite as far as like what Tesla did with the the
Right.
Cybertruck,
Yeah.
but not quite as I'm trying to think of how to say this. Not quite as commonplace as what like the Lightning looks like. Like the Lightning still looks futuristic, but I feel like they found a good middle ground for the Ram.
Yeah.
And as long as the production version looks like that, I think that was my only disappointment, is that it was just a concept. But it looks great, and the specs they're talking should offer a lot for consumers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard thing with all this stuff, and I always like I feel like I'm getting like jaded, getting like I'm not even that old, but I'm like so like torn on all this like new technology, which sounds like so old of me, but it's like so many people release this stuff and say all these great things, and then it's 5 years later, and it's like I mean it's kind of like that, but like completely
Yeah,
miss like whatever they were headed towards.
yeah.
Um, and like even just walking around the show, I was like telling one of my coworkers, I'm like, I'm turning into the person that like I want tech only where it like completely makes sense. Like my bed
Hmm.
does not need to be like network connected to like an app. Like I just don't think that's valuable. And like
You don't want that?
no. It's like even my like our appliances in our new house all have like app connections and stuff, and like I've downloaded all of them. I'm like this is not like helpful at all. Like I can't really do much with the app connection. It's just to like get more data. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff makes sense, but others I'm like this is just overkill
Yeah.
for what you need to do.
Well, to be honest, it's probably technology burnout. You know, like our generation, like grew up on essential like changes to technology. You know, like
Yeah,
we grew up through like flat screens being innovated. Obviously, game consoles, cell phones, all that stuff. So
yeah,
like I feel like for our generation, like we have this high expectation for how technology should be implemented, and it's
yeah,
not like it is meeting those needs, but I feel like there's just so much noise that and I also feel like we've gotten so used to technology that it's like, okay, like what's gonna happen? Yeah, I feel like CS is like a really cool opportunity to just like get technology like overload in
yeah.
one location.
Right.
Um and that's where like 1 year I really just want to experience that. Like I feel like I've had enough opportunities to be at conferences. I kind of know how things are structured now. So like maybe 1 year we'll have a booth like for Chargeway or we'll attend for Clean Technica or whatever. But I want to be in those places where they're all hologram, like holographic
Right.
like birds flying through. Like I want to experience that. That sounds
Yeah.
so cool.
I'll tell you the real show to go to in Vegas that we went to towards the end of last year was the NACS show, National Association of Convenience Stores. Did I tell
Oh
you about
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, we
It's
did talk about
like
with all the free food and stuff.
yeah, there's just it's basically every single brand you see in a gas station is at this show. Like so like Hunt's Pizza has a booth, Hershey's has a booth, like and they're just handing out free stuff. So nobody even leaves for lunch because they just get food at the show from the booths, which is
That's
hilarious.
so cool. Yeah,
But
we need to
yeah,
attend. We'll have to find some excuse to like tie that into like Clean Technica or like
right.
I'll talk to Matt at church would be
We'll
like
be
that we
EV
have to be
ambassadors to the show and just like educate people
right.
about EVs and
Yeah.
why they need ad charging.
Yes. I'm doing research on filling up our invisible cafeteria, at our business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But well, I mean, I'm excited for some of the vehicles that were unveiled. To me, it was a little bit underwhelming, to be honest, like some of the unveilings. Like, I felt like it was more heavy focused on concept versus like where we stand currently in
Right.
the EV industry.
Yep.
Like, I like that VinFast was there with their vehicles, even though I heard mixed reviews of how those vehicles actually were and like how they operated.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like Volkswagen missed an opportunity to show the ID7. Instead, they're just going to unveil production in Q2. It's like, why didn't you just do it there? Like, it's such a big platform for
Right.
the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more this year, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. But
I think
it
in a
still
lot of
looks cool.
ways, like, and just talking to people that have been to this in the past or been to it multiple years, it's like COVID really did just put a kind of a damper on this show in a lot of ways because they had it in 2020 and then since that year they have not had the same attendance. Like it's still a third
Oh.
of what it used to be like
Oh,
years
wow.
ago. So that's how much smaller like the show is. Even though it is still huge, it is nowhere near where it's been in the past. And I think we've seen just the effects of that have even like people are unveiling a lot of or unveiling a lot of things, but they aren't they aren't necessarily going into production or it's not a production car. It's just still kind of marketing, not really
Yeah.
like, hey, we're here, we're selling this thing now. Like we're still kind of getting caught in a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that part was unfortunate, but
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say kind of a blanket term to like cover both of us since you were in your booth most of the time. If anybody listening has like any, information on things that they experienced at either CES or, looked up online or, whatever, let us know because I'm sure there were things for like solar panels, green energy, sustainability that like we just might have missed that we didn't talk about because like I know for like home battery storage, I'm positive they had stuff like that there and I just didn't see anything. So
we didn't get a chance to stop in the booth, but it was in the same section of our floor. But I believe it was Schneider Electric had a connected like electrical panel. So it basically is measuring and can like load balance across your house between like your EV charger, your dryer, and like the lights in your house. Like could manage all of those different powers, which I thought was really cool. Like as much as I just said, like I don't want tech in my house. That's one thing I think where it like it can be valuable. It could theoretically save you money if it's like able to throttle things or like say, hey, let's leave the lights off for 10 more minutes and like save you some money.
Yeah.
So
yeah. See that's where I'm just gonna say when technology is useful, that's a good thing. But if it's just to preheat your oven when you're not at home, it's like.
So here's the thing: the frickin' oven app that I have that's for our oven doesn't even have that feature. You can't even preheat it remotely. This is why this is just a waste.
What do you do with it?
All it does is just give you notifications that like the oven is done or like your bake is complete. Like that's it. It's just notifications. I can't even activate it remotely. It's like, what's the point?
Literally, stoves and ovens for generations have had like bells and all that stuff like chimes. Why? I don't understand that. Are you like down the street and you need to know that your roast is done?
I guess I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, don't even get me started on connected refrigerators. That's a whole other thing.
Right.
But this podcast is not about refrigerators or appliances. So I actually know it could be if it's electric. But so, well, what else do you want to cover? I feel like we really kind of did like an overview of CES.
Yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I just thought of a couple more topics for next time though, so
okay.
I think we can discuss those in the future episode.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, like I mentioned, if you guys have any comments about CES, if there's something that we missed, let us know. We're more than happy to talk about it.
Definitely. Talk to you all in the next episode.